Shalom, sister, shalom. Koholo Yahweh Ba'ashem Hamashiach wa Malak Yahushai. All honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So, Lord willing, sisters, watch part 1 and part 2 before you watch this part 3. I haven't really had any topics of domestic violence on my channel, so I thought that this would be the great opportunity to present it to sisters. And I kind of made y'all a slideshow, but I used all of my information is pretty much information from a pamphlet from a doctor's office. My sister-in-law sent it to sisters, and I said that's perfect for the next part of my video, which is the signs of domestic abuse while courting. Okay, so sisters have to know these signs. You have to be aware of them. Like the scripture says, be not ignorant of anything in great matter or small. So you have to be aware of the types of domestic abuse that can go on while you're courting and getting to know a brother, okay? All right. So let's move on. All right, domestic abuse, okay? Domestic violence or intimate partner violence is a pattern of coercive behavior characterized by the control of one person over another, usually an intimate relationship through physical, psychological, emotional, verbal, sexual, and/or economic abuse. Okay, so I want to touch on the control of one person over another. Okay, while you're courting and you're approving a brother and you're getting to know them, you have to remember that that brother is not your husband, okay? And that goes on to the next slide. These scriptures right here, a brother could use these scriptures and say, well, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to marry you, I'm going to marry you. Say, for instance, you're not, if you're not promised to that brother and you didn't make a commitment, meaning y'all aren't engaged, that brother should not have any rule over you. Okay, this is 3:16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Your desire shall be towards your husband, and your husband shall rule over you. Respectfully. Not a man that you are courting. It does not say a man that I'm courting. It says your husband. Okay, this is 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Yahushai, and the head of the woman is a man, and the head of Yahushai is God. Okay, this is someone that you are getting to know. Like the scripture says, you're proving a friend to see if this man is worthy for you to spend your whole life with, to see if y'all are worthy to spend your whole life with together. Okay, then once you lay down with that man and y'all get married, that is your husband. Then that is your head. Okay? Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Okay? If you are not married to this brother, he is not your husband. Okay? You are proving this brother and you're trying to get an understanding of him, his ways, and you're getting to know him. His brothers, unfortunately, will use these precepts to domestically abuse a sister. Unfortunately, it's sad, but that can be the case in some situations. That's why I want sisters to understand that if you're not married to this brother, then the brother should not rule over you, number one. If you courting a brother and you kind of letting the brother rule over you, you're not married to that brother. You could be courting a brother, taking your time, getting to know him. The brother is not your husband, okay? And you are not the brother's wife, okay? Y'all are getting to know one another. All right? So this is recognizing the signs of domestic abuse. Okay, here are some examples. Constantly criticizing you. Okay, if a brother is constantly criticizing you, then 9 times out of 10, that might not be the brother for you. Now, if your brother could be righteously correcting you, saying, hey, you know what, you don't got your fringes on when you left the house. Oh, okay, yeah, you know what, I do need to put my fringes on. But if a brother is nitpicking, saying, he could say, I don't like how you have your hair wrapped a certain way. Oh, I don't like how you wear that purple shirt with the purple cardigan. Why don't you go put a black one on? That's an example of kind of constantly criticizing you. Oh, why your lunch look like that? That lunch look, it don't look too good. You're not going to try to make something else? You know, that's constantly criticizing. That's not a good sign. That means that this brother is going to constantly be getting on you all the time about little things. Okay? All right, controlling the money. A man that you are courting should have no access to your bank accounts, to any money that you may have saved up, nothing. The brother find out you a nurse, or the brother might find out you a doctor. Oh yeah, you got big money. Yeah, I'll be your husband. Can I borrow some money? Or hey, I see you I see you buying a lot of skirts and dresses and stuff. You need help trying to save your money? Let me help you try to save your money. Give me your card. I know this sounds crazy, but brothers, it's situations that actually happen when people might be in these type of situations. Somebody could say, so lucky for the baby crying. Somebody could say, their brother could say, give me your card. What's your bank account information? You spending too much money. We need to save up so we can get an apartment together. And how we going to get an apartment if you keep buying skirts? But you're just courting this brother. You don't even know if this is somebody that you're going to be with for your entire life. A brother should not have any control. A brother that you're courting should not have any control over your money. All right, that's how you can get used and abused. All right, and that goes into economic abuse. Economic abuse can include exerting control over income, spending, bank accounts, bills, and borrowing. It can also include controlling access to and the use of things like transport and technology, which allow us to work and stay connected, as well as property and daily essentials like food and clothing. It can include destroying items and refusing to contribute to household costs. Type of abuse is a form of coercive and controlling behavior. That's why I'm bringing it out. If a brother is trying to control your money, that is abuse. Okay, and I kind of touched on that on the last video, on part 2. If a brother is controlling your money, where to the point where you giving him all access to your bank accounts, and he has your cards, and he using your cards for gas, and you trying to get gas, and you have to ask him, can you use your own money? And he's saying, oh, I'll think about it. I'm going to just send you $10. Or you got to ask him for money for rent or for your mortgage because he said, well, I got to rule over you. I'm your husband. I'm about to be your husband. No, you're just courting the brother. There's no reason why the brother should have access to your money. And you can be abused economically. You can be abused financially. And when it comes to financial situations with sisters, you really have to make sure, and I honestly cannot stress this enough, you really have to make sure that you are financially stable and that the brother that you are courting are financially stable before you get married. Okay? And that kind of goes back into proving a friend. Financial issues is one of the reasons why a lot of people get divorced, because they don't have their finances together. All right? You just want to make sure that you have your financial situation together, because when you get married, then comes children. All right? You want to make sure that you're not saving up and stacking up all your money for a house. You want to make sure that it's not just you saving up. You want to make sure that once you finish the courting stage, that you move on to being engaged and y'all are like, look, hey, we're going to be married to one another. Okay? And you want to make sure that you have not just your money saved up, but that the brother is saving his money up as well, so that y'all are able to get a home together. Okay? And this should be done in the engagement stage. All right, and that reminds me of Ecclesiasticus 42:10. In her virginity, least she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house, and having an husband, least she should misbehave herself, and when she is married, least she should be barren. But the main point of this precept is, in her virginity, least she should be defiled and gotten with child in her father's house. So you shouldn't be laying down with a man if you still live with your father. Y'all should be living together, and y'all should be married. Your husband shouldn't be living with his Aunt Tukey and you staying with your father and your mother. But y'all married. Y'all should be living under the same roof. And in order to do that, you need to make sure that you're saving up financially, having yourself ready so that you guys can do that. All right, so that goes into economic abuse. Economic abuse can include exerting control over income, spending, bank accounts, bills, and borrowing. It can also include controlling access to and the use of things like transport and technology, which allow us to work and stay connected, as well as property and daily essentials like food and clothing. It can include destroying items and refusing to contribute to household costs. Okay? That kind of goes into Leviticus 19 and 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. More so the first part of that verse. Unfortunately, this can happen. A brother can defraud you and kind of rob you if you give him access to your bank accounts, to your credit cards, okay? Your bank cards. There's no reason why you should give a brother any of that information while you are courting and getting to know that brother. That's how you can get defrauded. And a brother can kind of suck you dry. Like I brought out in the last video, Ecclesiastes 13 and 7. And he will shame thee by his meats until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn afterward. When he seeth thee, he will forsake thee and shake his head at thee. Okay, a brother can take advantage of you and try to take everything from you. All right, they're going to try. A brother can try to suck you dry, like the scripture says. Not just one time, not just 2 times, but 3 times. Okay, and a lot of the times that can happen through economic abuse. Okay. So there's no reason why you should give a brother any of your financial information while you're courting. A brother could see that you are a nurse or a doctor, or you're making good money, you got your own business or whatever the case may be. And he could say, oh, you spending too much money on skirts. Well, we supposed to be living together. We supposed to be saving up for an apartment. So let me just go ahead and, have all your bank account information. And then I'll just give you a little bit of money here and there, and I'll help you out. That'll help us save. I promise you we're going to get married. And then you give the brother your information, trusting in the brother, and you asking him, hey, you know what, my rent is due, and you notice your bank account, you don't have any money in it. Or my mortgage is due for my house. Or I got to pay for children's this, that, or third, and you don't have any money. Because the brother took the money and did whatever he wanted to do with it. That's called economic abuse. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you get defrauded by a brother, okay? It's unfortunate, but you want to make sure that you're proving these brothers, all right? Right? Moving back to recognizing the signs, okay? Get into sudden mood changes, okay? If a brother that you're courting is having sudden mood changes, you have to be circumspect and think to yourself, maybe this brother has a personality disorder. So you have to be aware, like the scripture says, be not ignorant of anything great or small. You have to be aware of personality disorders, whether it's bipolar disorder, narcissistic behavior disorder, schizophrenia. The list can go on. You can look up all the list of the personality disorders, and you should do your research to make sure that you're not involving yourself with someone that has a personality disorder, which is AKA a spirit, an unclean spirit and a demon. Y'all could be out one day eating, having a great time. Then the brother just start looking around everywhere. He's scratching his beard, scratching his hair. He's looking around all paranoid. Or 1 minute, the brother happy, feeling all good. Y'all went over some scriptures, feeling all good through the spirit. Y'all about to go get something to eat. Then out of nowhere, he just starts saying, I don't know why I'm so mad. He starts shaking the steering wheel, hitting his head on the steering wheel out of nowhere. Or just get those sudden mood changes. Then 9 times out of 10, a brother, especially if it's for no reason at all, he might have a personality disorder. All right, so you need to recognize that. He was having a bad day. But every time you get around him, he being paranoid. He's scratching his neck, He looking around. He's just freaking out. 1 minute he's mad out of nowhere. Then the next minute he's extremely happy. You got to be aware and recognize these things, okay? Toxic personality disorders and traits, okay? A brother takes unnecessary risk. They have intense mood swings, have bouts of anger, depression, or anxiety. You may find it difficult for them to manage their daily tasks at home. They can't perform at work, meaning the brother can't keep a job, okay? They don't know how to maintain relationships. They don't have any brothers or that they can go hang out with. They don't have anybody that they have a close relationship to. Those are signs to look out for, okay? And that kind of goes into, like I was saying, a narcissistic personality disorder. People with this personality disorder people with this personality disorder generally have a grand sense of themselves and need a lot of admiration, all right? They're also very sensitive and can't take criticism easily. Symptoms include an inflated sense of importance, feeling entitled to people's time and attention, requiring a lot of attention and admiration, feeling superior to other people, only wanting to associate with people who are quote-unquote equally superior, monopolizing conversations, looking down on people considered inferior, expecting people to do whatever you ask them, difficulty empathizing with other people's feelings, difficulty recognizing other people's needs, being easily jealous of other people, bragging a lot, insisting on only having the best material items, relationships and friendships. All right. These are examples of people that may have personality disorders. And this is just goes into a narcissistic personality disorders. All the other ones, you might have to, go look up, being schizophrenic, bipolar, paranoid. But these are all types of signs and things that you should look out for while you're courting. Okay? Because a lot of these people that have these personality disorders tend to be abusive. Kind of goes into monitoring your activities, computer use, phone calls. Only someone insecure would do such things if they don't trust you. All right, no brother that you're courting should have no business monitoring your activities, computer use, or phone calls. All right, you're gaining a trust of a brother. All right, like the scripture says, the heart of her husband doth safely trust in him. So that brother is kind of learning how to trust you, Lord willing. So a brother shouldn't really have any access to monitor your computer use, your phone calls, and monitor your activities. All right. That's very excessive. You come over your house, you go to the bathroom, he going through your computer history, trying to figure out who you're talking to. That's off. The person that you're courting, y'all supposed to be building up a trust, be able to gain trust over time. He has no business going in your phone, going in your laptop, going on your iPad. That's very excessive, and that kind of goes into that narcissistic personality disorder, trying to control little things like that. If a brother is doing that now, just wait until you get married. Play around if you want to. Just wait until you get married. If a brother is monitoring your activities, your computer use, and your phone calls while you're courting, that's just the beginning. That's a red flag. All right. If a brother is accusing you of having affairs, the brother might be insecure. And that goes back into those toxic personality traits. Okay? You don't have time for that. Be aware of all of these things that I'm bringing out, okay? If a brother is destroying your things that you care about, whether it be, like it says, family photos, clothes, shoes, purses, scarves, hair wraps, cars, your apartment, while y'all are courting, that brother is abusing you. That's a sign of domestic abuse. A lot of the times we always think abuse is physical, somebody slapping you, punching you, choking you. No, these are types of abuse as well. If a brother is destroying your clothes or destroying your shoes, destroying your items, that is abuse. And you do not have to deal with that. Okay? All right? Does a brother, hitting you, then denying it, saying, oh no, you made me do it. You made me hit you. That's abuse. All right? Forcing you to have sex or hurting you sexually. I told y'all in the last video, if a brother brings up anything sexual while you're courting, if a brother asking you for pictures and he asking you for sexual favors, or he asking you anything sexual while you courting, then you know what you should do? Go to your settings and block the brother. Okay? All right? Does a brother stop you from seeing a doctor? If you are sick and you done prayed and you fasted on it and you like, oh my gosh, I'm just not getting better, and you go to the doctor or you go to your holistic doctor or wherever you go and they don't want you to take your vitamins anymore, your herbs anymore, that's considered abuse, because you have to take care of yourself. Okay? If a brother damages your clothes, your shoes, your items, hits you, abuse you, does anything outlandish, crazy to you, and they keep apologizing for it, but it keeps happening, that is considered abuse. I won't do it again. I won't hit you again. I won't talk to you like that again. I won't treat you like that again. But they keep doing it over and over. They don't care about you, but most importantly, they don't care about themselves. And you don't want to court someone that does not care about themselves. Okay? Because they're not going to care about you, and they're not going to care about your children if you have children. And that goes into those toxic personality traits. All right? Moving on. Okay. So I wanted to get into 1 Corinthians 14:33. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. In 1 Peter 3:11, let him eschew evil and do good, and let him seek peace and ensue it. Okay? So you're supposed to be at peace while you're courting someone. You should never have to go through physical abuse, psychological, emotional, or verbal abuse, or economic abuse, or sexual abuse. Okay? The Lord, is this okay? The Lord is not the author of confusion. You shouldn't be sitting down trying to figure out if the behavior of someone is okay or not. Full abuse, pushing you, shoving you, punching you, slapping you, restraining you, abusing your pet, spitting on you, kicking you, or tripping you. That is physical abuse. Okay? And you need to recognize those signs, so you can end the courtship if any of that is happening, okay? Then you have psychological, emotional, or verbal abuse, okay? They isolate you, meaning they don't want you to talk to your family anymore. The trips to the store with your mother, you can forget about those. The trips to go out with the sisters, you can't go anymore. That's what isolation is, okay? Because if a brother tries to isolate you, they're doing that so they can try to control you, and so they can kind of break you down, and you won't have nobody to go to when things get rough. Okay? Don't let a brother ever try to isolate you from your loved ones. Criticism, and we already talked about that. Well, why you doing that? And why you doing this? And why you got that on? Nobody wants to hear that. Just block the brother if you're doing that. Humiliate you. May have came on your flower. You're like, look at you. You just look disgusting. You nasty. You dirty. Look at that. You ain't even know that. How you ain't know you was going to be on your flower? That's, a brother kind of humiliating you. Embarrass you in front of others. She don't even know the scriptures anyway. She don't know nothing. You know why the point you even asking her what scripture that is? She don't even read. That's humiliating you, okay? Threaten you. Intimidate you. Harassment. Stalking. You on your lunch break, eating in your car, and I thought you said you was by yourself. You ain't tell me, or he take a picture, send it to you, and say you ain't tell me you was in the car on your lunch break with your coworker, with Stacy. You ain't tell me that, but you like, wait a minute, why you right here taking a picture of me, stalking you? All right, controlling your activities, All right, after you go home, after you go to work, go straight home. Don't go over your sister's house. Go straight home. If a brother is destroying your property, monitoring your cars, manipulating you, being overly possessive, lying, has a jealousy spirit in you, those are all forms of emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse. Recognize and understand, okay? These are the toxic traits that you need to look out for while you're courting. It's not okay. You don't have to sit down and figure it out and, ask people, no, just know that if you watch this video, just understand that it's not okay. And the Lord is not the author of confusion. No man that likes you is going to treat you like that. Treat you like this, okay? Now, we already talked about the economic abuse. Purposely not paying bills or refusing to work. Refusing to give money to the partner, not letting the partner work or go to school, interfering with the partner's job or job training. If a brother is interfering with your job and your means of living, then that is economic abuse. If a brother say he don't want you working at your job because your manager is an Edomite or because your manager is a man and the brother is not able to financially sustain you by himself, that's economic abuse. All right, that's economic abuse. And back to economic abuse, if a brother tells you he wants you to get rid of, whatever, anything that's yours, that you paid for, and doesn't restore it back into you, that's economic abuse. A brother can say, hey, I don't like how, I don't really like those skirts you have. Do you think that maybe they're a little too tight? Or I don't like, but they could be modest skirts. They could be loose, modest skirts. Or a brother could say, I don't really like your sneakers. I want you to only wear flats. And you got to throw them away. That brother needs to be able to restore you whatever you threw away. So if a brother wants you to change your attire, you need to, before you let that brother have any say in that brother needs to have some money for you to replace it. So don't throw away, don't get rid of any of your things that a man that you're courting doesn't like, especially if he is not going to replace it. That's called economic abuse, okay? And we already spoke on sexual abuse, trying to force you to lay down with them or sexual favors, okay? Forcing unwanted. No means no. If anybody is doing any of these things on this list, that's very evil. And we have to eschew evil. All right, moving on. So all of those types of abuse can lead to health problems. You can see and in ways you can't see. Ways you can see: black eyes, bruises, scratches, vision, hearing loss. Abuse can put a spirit on you. And in ways you can't see: unexplained headaches, chronic headaches, depression, fatigue, anxiety, sleep disturbance, panic attacks, stomach aches, chest pains. You could be abusing alcohol. You could be attempting suicide. These are all types of things that can happen if you're dealing with a brother that's abusive. The brother could call you and you instantly feel nauseous. You instantly feel like you're about to throw up. You instantly have a headache. And this is Ecclesiasticus 30:22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. The happier you are, the longer your days on this earth will be, Lord willing. Okay? And this is Ecclesiasticus 30:23. Love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. Remove sorrow far from thee, for sorrow hath killed many, and there is no profit therein. So if you love yourself, you're going to comfort your own spirit. And you're going to remove far away from you anybody that's treating you like this. Any brother that you're courting that's treating you like this. You're going to move it far away from you. Because sorrow hath killed many. And that kind of goes into the attempted suicide. Or the abuse of medications, pain medications. Or an addiction to drugs or alcohol. You could find yourself, every time you get off of work, you used to make dinner, read some scriptures, go to the gym, etc. But now when you get off of work, you find yourself drinking a bottle of Hennessy. Now you're addicted to alcohol. You don't want that to be the situation. And you don't want to end up in a situation where, you lose your life because you're dealing with someone that doesn't care about you. Remove sorrow far away from you. Now that we talked about the ways that how you shouldn't be treated during your courtship, I wanted to talk about ways on how you are supposed to be loved, okay? Ephesians 5:25-31. Husbands, love your wives, even as Yahushua also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot nor wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. So he that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and they shall be joined unto his wife, and they shall two be one flesh. So a man that you're courting, he's going to have some type of care for you. He's going to grow to love you for y'all to get married. Okay? And he's going to love you like Yahushua loved the church. And you know how Yahushua loved the church? He died for us. He died for Israel, the whole body of Israel. So how much more should a man love and take care of you? And he should love you like he loved himself. So if a brother thinks that it's acceptable to abuse you in all those ways that I just described, and a lot of the times, they know that they shouldn't be doing that. They know they wouldn't do that to themselves. All right? So they doing that to be hateful. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, a brother might have a spirit on him where he might hate himself. And you don't want to be with somebody like that. You want to be with somebody that's going to treat you good. You want to court a brother that's treating you good. Okay? Because if a brother is treating you bad and acting like that and abusing you, the brother does not love you. The brother actually hates you. And these are some type of ways that our forefathers loving their wives, okay? This is Genesis 24:67. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. So Isaac loved Rebekah so much that she comforted him. Being with her was comforting to his spirit. She gave him a sense of peace after his mother had passed away. And it says he loved her. It didn't say that he abused her. This is Genesis 29:18. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel thy younger daughter. So Jacob loved Rachel to the point where he took the time and served. So like he took the time and served for Rachel. He really wanted it to work with Rachel. And that kind of shows also patience as well. If a brother really wants to marry you, he's going to take the time to do so. If our forefathers had patience, brothers should have patience as well. Don't let a brother force you out of your courtship to enter into marriage. Okay? If a brother is doing that, that shows a lack of patience. And you have to think, do you really want to be with a man that has a lack of patience? And you have to ask yourself, well, why is he in such a rush to marry me? Y'all supposed to be getting to know each other. He loved Rachel. He didn't lay down with her. And he still loved her. So don't let nobody trick you and say, oh, man, I can't really get to know you if I don't lay down with you. If we don't do nothing sexual, that's abuse. That's someone trying to take advantage of you. All right? And this is Colossians 3:19. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. A brother that loves you, he's not going to teach you an evil lesson against yourself, like the scripture says. All right, and this is love according to the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is Matthew 22:36-40. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yahushai said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. The second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law of the prophets. So that's one of the first. The second is like unto the first and great commandment of loving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That you have to love your neighbor like you love yourself. Others should love you and care about you like he loves himself. And if a brother is showing you any signs or any type of abuse, then that brother does not love himself. How a person treats you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. All right, so this is King David and an example of King David protecting and providing. Brothers should be protecting you and providing for you. These are the things that you look for while you're courting, okay? Their wives. And one thing they did was protect and provide, okay? And I'm going to read 1 Samuel 30:18-19 as an example. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his 2 wives, and there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoil nor anything that they had taken to them. David recovered all. So David, he protected his wives. He went to go get his wives, and he went to go get everything else that the Amalekites took, because he loved and he provided and protected for his family. Your future husband should be a provider, not only financially, but spiritually and physically. But you want to make sure that they're able to comfort you with the scriptures. All right, and this is an example of King David and Elkanah comforting their wives. All right, and this is 2 Samuel 12:24. And David comforted Bathsheba, his wife, and went in unto her and lay with her, and she bare a son, and he called his name Solomon, and the Lord loved him. So after Bathsheba lost her first son, David was there, Salakia. He was there to help comfort her. He wasn't being abusive towards her, saying it's your fault that this happened. Wrong with you. I'ma just get another wife instead. He comforted her, and they were able to have King Solomon. All right, and this is 1 Samuel 1:8. Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Read that account. Hannah was grieved in her spirit because she had to deal with her sister wife vexing her, and because she couldn't bear a child. He wasn't being a jerk. All right, he came to her and said, oh, why you not eating? And why you crying? And why is your heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? But he didn't go off on her and acted like a Negro. And this is Judah righteously correcting and setting Rachel in order, okay? And this is Genesis 31:2. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. And Jacob's anger was kindled against Rachel, and he said, am I in God's stead, who hath withheld from thee the fruit of the womb? So your future husband might be upset with you. He might be upset with you, but he's going to correct you in righteousness. He's not going to physically hurt you, emotionally hurt you. Okay? He's going to righteously correct you. Just like Jacob corrected Rachel. He said, look, I'm not the Most High. You got to remember the order. It's the Lord, then it's me, then it's you. But he's like, I'm not the Lord. I can't bless you with children. Okay, part of being married and courting is healthy communication with mutual respect and trust. And our forefathers had mutual respect and trust for their wives. And they trusted their wives, okay? And this is an example. Genesis 16:1-6. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children. And she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abraham, behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into my maid. It may be that I may obtain. Salakia. And Sarah said unto Abraham, behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened to the voice of Sarah. And Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived, and when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarah said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee, I have given my maid unto thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So, let's get into this. Abraham trusted his wife. Abraham could have said, no, what are you doing? Who are you to tell me that I can have your handmaid? If I wanted your handmaid, I would take her myself. You don't trust the Lord. The Lord said we have to have faith. But you don't even have faith. You lack faith, Sarah. So you lack faith so bad that you want me to go into your handmaid. Psh, you pathetic. He didn't say nothing like that. He didn't slap her. He didn't hit her. He didn't tell her that she lacked faith. How's she going to tell him what to do? You usurping authority over me, Sarah. He didn't say none of that. This is my wife. This is what she wanted. All right. If this is going to make her happy, I love her, I'll do it. All right. That's cool. All right. He wasn't being abusive towards her. They had a healthy communication, mutual respect and trust. And Sarah even came back to him and pretty much said, my bad. I should have never gave you Hagar to be your wife. I should have never did that. Because now she looking at me like she better than me. Now Abraham could have said, yeah, I don't know why you did it in the first place. You should have just been patient. Now you over here got to deal with this other woman. And she over here thinking she better than you. You got this heathen thinking that she better than you. Sarah, you don't know nothing. He could have been a jerk to her. But he said, go and do what you please with her. If you want to get rid of her, do what you want to do. I'm for you and I trust you. And your decision making after you already kind of made a decision that you already said you were sorry for. But go ahead and do what you got to do. All right. That's a mutual respect and trust and healthy communication. It was no arguing. It was no fighting. It's a beautiful thing for a man and a wife to agree together. So y'all should be on one accord. According to brother, y'all should be on one accord. If you're not on one accord, you're not going to have a healthy marriage. Okay? All right. And this is another example of healthy communication and mutual respect and trust. All right. And this is 1 Samuel 1:21. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she had said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him, that he may appear before the Lord and there abide forever. All right, verse 23. And Elkanah her husband said unto her, do what seemeth thee good, tarry until thou have weaned him. Only the Lord established his word. So the woman abode and gave her son suck until she weaned him. So he trusted his wife. And he said, do what seemeth good to thee. If that seems like that's the right decision, the Lord put that in your spirit. I know you are a righteous woman. You are my wife. Do what seems good to you, and I trust you. He wasn't being abusive to her. He wasn't being a nigga to her. Okay? So that is how a courtship should go. And a marriage should be healthy communication. Okay? All right, this is Matthew 7:15-20. All right? Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Every tree that bringeth forth not good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them. So if a brother is doing all of those signs of abuse, you shall know that that is an abusive brother. And you shall know a man by their fruits. Okay? If a brother is a righteous brother and he's comforting you with scriptures, he cares for you, he has your best interest, you can trust the brother, you have healthy communication, you see the brother got a nice paying job, he's working hard, he's in school, he's trying his best, he's doing everything he got to do, he's going out to the highways and byways and teaching, he's doing alms deeds, then look, you shall know a man by his fruits. That's a good man. Okay? The Lord is not the author of confusion. You shouldn't have to try to figure out if a man is good or not. You shall know them by their fruits. And I want to end it off again with Ecclesiastes 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Be not hasty to say that this is a good brother. Be not hasty to say, this is my husband. Y'all are friends. Prove him. Prove the brother. You know how you prove him? By knowing all of these signs that I brought out. All of these signs of domestic abuse. If a brother is doing all of these things to you, this brother is not the brother for you. You do not deserve to be abused at all. Okay? Like I keep saying, we are daughters and princesses of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. We don't really play about, the daughters of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Just like a father don't play about their daughter, or brothers don't play about their sister. Know your self-worth. Understand the role that you play when you're courting. A brother shouldn't have any financial control over you. He should not be abusive towards you. He should not treat you like a heathen. Okay? Be aware of these things. And a lot of sisters can say, well, this is not going to happen. This brother is a teacher. This brother always on the highways and byways. He looked like a good brother. I know this brother because I done watched him on my videos. Well, I know this brother because I'm always there at the Sabbath and he be out teaching. And I be seeing he doing a good job teaching. That's a good brother. You don't know the brother. All right? Stop thinking you know people because you watch them on social media. All right? Or because you seen them teach. Because you met them one time. You do not know people. Okay? You know how you know people? You get to know them. You talk to them. You prove them. And you see them, how they act. You shall know a man by their fruits. All right? And you're going to take the time to get to know a brother after you watch this video if you courting Lord willing. Ain't no need to rush. You're going to rush yourself in a situation that's a terrible situation because you didn't take the time to get to know and prove the brother, okay? Understand that, sisters. I love y'all and I hope that this was an edifying video. Shalom. Look out for part 4, sisters. Are you prepared to be a wife? Shalom.